In this film you will see how Australian governments are destroying forests and tropical rainforests. Australia is the only country in the world that employs people to destroy its forests and the animals that live in the forests. The only country that sets fire to its forests and deliberately destroys all rainforest regrowth. They call this invasive rainforest. What you see here is splendid natural forest untouched by man. And in this part of the world, forest like this is hard to find. Above me is a canopy of tall trees and not much light gets down here. It's cool and damp, much cooler than it is outside the forest. Beneath this shady canopy is an understory of shrubs, immature trees and ground cover plants. A deep layer of succulent mulch, which is slowly turning into new soil, covers the ground, and there is no grass here. This is the life cycle of the forest. Destroy this and eventually nothing grows. A few kilometres from the forest that you have just seen is this once similar forest. Only this is managed by Queensland Parks and Wildlife Services, and this is all that remains. The forest has been almost completely destroyed by continuous burning. There are dead trees everywhere. All that is left are a few small, badly stressed, fire-resistant trees. The normal understory of shrubs and ground cover plants has been destroyed and replaced by tough, wiry weed grasses. These grasses smother everything. What remains now is highly flammable, a forest with only a fraction of the species of plants and trees that used to cover this area. The once abundant wildlife has gone, burnt alive by the people that do this. The myth that Australian forests need fire to survive continues to be preached by incompetent government departments. So what tells us that this is a myth? Of the 30,000 known plant species in Australia, the majority, especially rainforest plants, are destroyed by fire. There are no plants in Australia that benefit from fire. Even the hardy eucalypts, which can withstand some degree of burning, are often killed by fire. Continual burning turns once lush forest into very dry, highly flammable and mainly eucalypt forests. And although these trees can withstand some fire, they also burn readily and cause more destruction of wildlife. Queensland Parks and Wildlife Service ignores the immense cruelty inflicted on our animals, birds, reptiles and amphibians, and makes the claim that no animals are killed in our fires. National parks authorities in Queensland are the biggest killers of wildlife in this state, burning huge numbers of animals to death every year. In addition, their fires produce an estimated 26 million tonnes of greenhouse gases each year, which are not calculated into our national greenhouse gas emission totals. The false claim that these emissions are taken back by regrowth is, as you have seen, a lie perpetrated by a government department devoid of any common sense. Last year alone, Queensland National Parks and Wildlife Services burnt 1.3 million hectares of forest. If we assume that 10 small animals are burnt alive on each hectare, that's a staggering total of 13 million, mainly small animals, burnt alive each year by Queensland Parks and Wildlife Services. And we wonder why Australia leads the world in small mammal extinctions. The forests of Australia, like the rest of the world's forests, need no management. They've been managing themselves for hundreds of millions of years. Yet successive government ministers in Queensland continue to believe the claim that these forests can only survive if they are regularly burnt. They ignore the fact that the greatest deserts in the world, the Sahara Desert, and most of Australia's deserts were created by man burning and destroying the forests. These people believe that they can play God with our forests and by destroying them with fire create better forests than nature can. How absurd. The reason Queensland Parks and Wildlife Service gives for burning these forests is to prevent large fires. This section of the Bruce Highway is just north of Ingham and the forest has been completely destroyed. All that remains are a large number of highly stressed, fire-tolerant trees. There are, as you can see, huge numbers of dead trees around us. All of those have been killed by these fires. All the large trees are gone, brought down by continual burning. There's nothing left alive here. The once abundant wildlife has gone, burned alive by the people that do this. We need your help to stop this. While Australia is highly critical of environmental issues, it is one of the worst offenders in forest destruction and wildlife extinction. Most of this is caused by the destructive practice of burning huge areas of forest every year. Millions of wild animals are burned alive in these fires, and the entire planet is seriously affected by the creation of huge quantities of greenhouse gases. How you can help? This will only stop with publicity and international criticism, or a threatened boycott of Australia. We need you to tell all your friends about this. We need you to tell the world what is happening here.